Okay. Red flags I look for as a saddle fitter. Some are more obvious than others. I'm going to forget some. I'll do a part two. I'm just kind of doing these off the top of my head before I run out. So first thing first, when I walk into the barn, I'm looking to see how the horse is standing to get tacked up. If they're antsy before and after, okay. If the second that saddle comes out and they get antsy, I'm paying attention to that. This is before I've palpated this, before I've done anything. This is just kind of me taking notes. What I'm also looking for is girthiness. Girthiness to me indicates a problem. Sometimes that problem might be the girth itself. Sometimes it might be the saddle pad. Sometimes it might be the half pad. And a lot of the times it's the saddle. Then I'm always palpating a horse's back. When I am the rider and the owner, things I'm doing as a saddle fitter for my own horses, I'm palpating their backs before I ride. I'm palpating their backs after they ride. I do teach people how to properly palpate in my virtual lessons. So that's huge. Palpate, make sure I'm not missing anything. And also, there's a big place that gets missed behind the shoulder. Saddles grab in spots that maybe we don't notice. So palpate everywhere. Tail swishing, pinning their ears, just an overall look of like either pissed or kind of shut down. I have one horse that is such a saint. I have one client's horse, such a saint. And the second the saddle would come out, she would just like look absolutely depressed. But she would never express it, right? So those are horses that, unfortunately, because they are such angels, get the brunt of it because they don't express it as much as they should, honestly, I think should. So that's just in the before you ride. Now, things I notice when people are riding. Different horses have different ways of showing and expressing pain. There are a lot of things that get missed, and because I was a biomechanics trainer before this, that is what I really utilize in my fittings. So they can really isolate areas of their backs and evade pressure. So they may be looking like they're going really forward, especially super athletic horses. Lusitanos are the biggest offenders of this. They'll isolate in places and kind of get a little choppy, but not choppy enough for anybody to notice. So they're not like really moving through. So that's a big one, not being able to utilize their entire body. Tripping in the front, if their feet are all good, tripping is actually a big sign of saddle fit issues because they're getting pinched. Sliding out behind. Having a harder time with one lead than the other is a problem. And swishing their tail a lot that's a big one. Grinding their teeth. What else besides obvious, like bucking. And now here's another thing. As a saddle fitter, my first thing at that appointment is, has your horse been seen by a chiropractor? Because if I see a super imbalance in that horse, I don't want to flock unevenly, or I don't want to adjust unevenly until that horse has been seen by a chiropractor, because let's fix that imbalance first. And let's make sure that the saddle is properly adjusted to that horse, and give them a chance to straighten up and out. Now, here's something I honestly am a little bit more cautious to say at appointments because there's a lot of people working together and I never want to overstep. Rider position. Rider position is huge. If I am not there to teach you a biomechanics lesson though, and you have not asked for that, that is not my job at that appointment. But, sometimes I'll mention a little bit of rider unevenness if it's really bad. I think we have to really take self-responsibility if we feel like, making sure that we are aligned. Now, if the saddle is not aligned, so you can't be aligned, then of course that's the saddle. So that's a big one, making sure that you're nice and straight. So you give your horse the opportunity to be balanced. So chiropractor, I also always check with what has your vet said. I'm pretty shocked to see the amount of people that call me out first as a saddle fitter before the vet. Now granted, if it's somebody that knows it's obviously the saddle, then yes, call me. But a lot of times I'll get oh, well, they've just been, acting weird and all these things are going on. And my first thing is I'd rather have the vet take a look at this horse and really make sure everything's okay before I'm called in. I do feel like I don't know if this is just me or if everybody's noticing this in their areas, but I'm noticing an uptick of some neurologic things going on. And if I see that, like I had one horse buckle really badly on the cross ties and almost fall over, and he was quivering all over his body. And I was like, yeah, I can't work with this horse until you have the vet out and make sure everything's okay. This is not a saddle fit thing. So please always refer to your vet. Like, don't cut corners with your horses. Make sure that your horse is really okay to be ridden. I get a lot of calls for older horses that are starting to slow down a little bit. And, a lot of times it's not the saddle. Please get the vet out there. And if they're happy to move, I'm happy to help. So what else? I think that was enough rambling for today. I'm sure I missed some big ones that I'll come back on here and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot to say blah, blah, blah. But that was just kind of my ramble of the day. Just things that you can kind of really do yourself to make sure that your horse is comfortable. Run your hand down the saddle every day. You'll start to figure out what you're looking for, just really feel for pressure points. It's not like rocket science. I hate to say that. It's hard. Saddle fitting is very hard. Like absolutely, it is very difficult. But just feel down for pressure points. Notice angles. Notice the way things sit flush and the way things don't sit flush. And you'll start to pick up on things, I think, sooner than you realize. So, yeah, I think that's that. If you have any questions, post them below. There have been so many questions underneath my videos, and thank you. Truly, I love them. There's no way in hell with working my job and doing this that I'll be able to get to all of them, but I will do my best to get as many as I can. So I hope that this video helps you a little bit. A quick ad. Older horses absolutely deserve horses. Oh my God. Older horses deserve saddles that fit absolutely more than anything. So call me after the vet. That was what I was trying to get at.